It is now in order to consider Amendment Number 8, printed in Part C of House Report 113-1. For what purpose does the gentleman from Kansas seek recognition?
Madam Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment Number 8, printed in Part C of House Report Number 113-1, offered by Mr. Huelskamp of Kansas.
Pursuant to House Resolution 23, the gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Huelskamp, and a member opposed, each will control 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Kansas.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. My amendment seeks to ensure maximum transparency in a process which will see billions of taxpayer dollars distributed through FEMA grants. While I appreciate that a provision was included to require the disclosure of grants over $1 million, I believe we owe it to taxpayers to do even more. And my amendment strikes the $1 million threshold for disclosure and requires the details of all grants distributed under FEMA's disaster relief program to be disclosed. Recently, a town in California was the subject of a FEMA Inspector General investigation. The FEMA IG found that the grantee received $830,000 following a recent flood, and the town in question spent all the allocated grant money and has requested reimbursement for $769,000 more. Among the inappropriate expenditures were a host of purchases that had nothing to do with the equipment damaged by the flood, including new chairs, computers, telephones, lamps, and a microwave. FEMA rejected the claim, finding these and numerous other attempts to claim reimbursement outside the scope of the flood as well as outside of the terms of the grant. While I commend FEMA for catching this attempted fraud, the sheer volume of grants that will come as a result of Sandy necessitates maximum transparency at the beginning of the process. My amendment requires just that. Let me give you one other example. According to a September 2012 DHS IG report, I quote, "Following Hurricanes Katrina and Rita in 2005 and other disasters up to December 31st, 2010, FEMA dispersed more than $8 billion in assistance payments, some of which were later determined to have been improperly paid to individuals who were either ineligible or who received duplicate payments. The debts in question arose in part because FEMA relaxed its internal controls in order to provide expedited delivery of assistance grants to displaced disaster survivors. The relaxed internal controls, Madam Chairman, involved improper payments of as much as $621 million to 167,488 recipients. According to the report, FEMA attempted to recoup the improper payments to the tune of $1.3 million, but they spent $7.3 million to collect them, again costing the taxpayers a net of $6 million. Why repeat a process like this if we can avoid it? The paperwork is already being done on disaster relief grant applications. They are already being recorded on a computer somewhere in FEMA, so there are already disclosure procedures in place that can quickly and appropriately bring forward this information. According to the CBO, this amendment will have no budgetary impacts. It simply does not create an undue burden to make the list public in a timely fashion. So I ask my colleagues to join me and inject 100% transparency and accountability at the beginning of the process to help root out waste and fraud. And Madam Chairman, I reserve the balance of my... I will yield.
I want to thank the gentleman from Kansas for putting forward this amendment. I'm pleased to accept it. I just want to assure you that in both the Rogers bill and my bill, we have plenty of transparency. We have lots of reports, and I think your added protections of the taxpayers' dollars are very much in order. And I thank you for yielding to me.
Thank you, and I'll yield back the balance
of my time. The gentleman yields
Thank you.
back the balance of his time. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Kansas. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.